girls, welcome back. I got a new pattern here for you today to finish up our gills series, and this is one that I use frequently also if I'm just trying to make it quick and easy. The 6-string method can be a little tedious, and it's almost for show flies to Instagram flies, for, you know, as an example, I guess there. But this one is pretty easy way to tie, still represents good gills, and it's in a bug that we typically see here late summer. What we have before us here is the Yinzer Clinger, which is a clinging mayfly pattern that has a good representation of gills here. What we have here as the legs, some horsetail. I'm going to show you something new on that today. I had ordered, because I saw them online, these little football head beads that are supposed to be shaped for clingers. But I guess, the other reasoning behind it was, changing the way the weight is distributed on the hook. A round bead, a slotted bead, you can change that position on the hook a little bit to either make it top heavy or bottom heavy. So this one is designed to be bottom heavy, and it's supposed to float through the water like this. So that's what the manufacturer is saying the design is, but I haven't fished it yet. We'll give it a shot. But let's walk you through what we got here. We have this little football bead here that's on the top here. This is by Spawn Fly Fish, and this is a gold bead. These beads are bigger than your standard 3mm bead. This one's weighing out about a 4mm, so it is heavy. That's the smallest size that they have. The hook that we have on there, Fulling Mills, this is size 12. That's their nymph hook, 5065. And for the collar and the gills, I have this 2 different colors. The black is going to be the thorax, yellow is going to be the gills, and for the body that we have here, this is just some 5/0 crochet thread. I like this because it's round and it holds its shape, and you can get really good segmentation on here and still keep the bodies thin. So that's a nice part of that. Mayfly tails for the back, and what we have here that we're going to show you first are these little legs. If you have ever done or tried to knot K-N-O-T, Pheasant Tales, it works out pretty good, okay? Like this, where you're putting a knot in the end of this to try to create an angle. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay guys, this is what we do. Get a paper clip, all right, normal size one. What we're going to do, you're going to hold this so that the top bump is going to stick out, okay? Do it this way. We're going to use this middle piece, and we want to bend that out a little bit and take a pair of wire cutters and cut it down below the top of this, okay? And that essentially is going to be your tying tool. Now what I would tell you, bend this out, a little piece of sandpaper or something to rub over that, because the clippers aren't going to leave a very clean cut, and it can cut whatever you're tying with. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to put that one aside since that's not the one I typically use. I'm going to put this one in here like this, okay? On the side a little bit to open this up. And you kind of want there to be very little room or anything in between the hook and the peg, and essentially you're going to get what I'm using is horsehair. Okay, if you're going to use pheasant tail fibers, you're basically going to be taking, 2 or 3 of those fibers and tying the knot, using this little device. And then once you do that, it's pretty much done. It's kind of hard to get 2 knots in one side or in one leg. But what we want to do here, hold in your left hand, hold in your right hand. As you're looking at your vise, you're going to wrap the whole way around the device. Then you're going to take your right hand up and pull that through. Okay, now we have a perfect little knot. It puts a good angle on it. You can see how tight I can make those knots with this horsehair. It is amazing. And I'm using it for tails and stuff. If you hold on to that knot when you pull it, that'll give you probably about an inch in between knots. And I just get one piece of horsehair and I'll just tie all the knots. Trying to make that as tight to that other one as possible. If you want to add another element to your bugs, this is a good way to do it. See there, we got about a 1/2 inch. And what I'm doing, when I wrap this around here, okay, I'm pulling it so that the knot is just outside of the outside edge. Pull it up, and that gives us about that, 1/2 inch difference. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different segments in there. We're only going to need 2 really, but I'll tie this whole piece of horsetail with all these knots, and I'll show you what we do with it at the end. So let's get something on here and we'll get started. I've seen guys with those pheasant tail fibers do it all kinds of ways. That seems to be the easiest way. I've seen guys use like a crochet needle and they're tying them right on the pheasant tail feather, so that whenever they need some, they'll just cut some off and tie it on. But to each his own, I guess. All right, we're gonna get this started here. If I can hold on to the string. I forgot, I wanted to do this pattern earlier because last year I kind of started the tradition of doing a Yinzer bug during training camp, Steeler training camp, which is here in Latrobe. For those of you that don't follow real football teams, I guess we don't either. It's gonna be a bad year. Okay, I'm just wrapping extra string on there. No reason for it. What I'm going to do first is tie on 1/2 of these tails. You don't want too many. They're so small that kind of hard to see them when they get wet. Probably about a body length or shank length. Tie those on the top of the hook, a couple wraps, make sure my length is right. And pinch it to the hook as I tighten up that back wrap. Just trying to keep it on top of the hook. And once we get down here to where the bend is starting, gonna put in a little string underneath there to try to flare those tails. Cut off the excess there. The other thing about these these football heads, the hole in the back is freaking huge, so you really got to stuff it full of material, you know, to get it to stay where you want it. This is that crochet thread. I don't know why that's so hard to say. And take that back to just before the tails. Make sure that body is consistent. Okay, then I'm going to take a piece of this micro fritz. I need a lot of this, and I'm going to fold a loop. I'm going to tie it in tips forward, or tips backward rather, because we're going to be wrapping this, we're going to be pulling this forward once we get it onto the hook, or once we get it wrapped. Okay, now we're going to tie this on. Really struggling with this. Back a little bit, and what we're going to do is catch it when we're wrapping, the body. So for now, a lot of times I'll just wrap it around the head until we can, you know, get this body situated. Now with this cord, you want overlapping, barely touching edges so that you can create that segmentation. And I go about a third of the way up. Then I will pull this back, you know, this way, so that I can trap that in there. You want to make sure that it is on the bottom. Trying to get these segments lined up. Okay, I'm going to get our bead situated. This little bit of an excess down here. Then we're going to pull this forward over the bead. And you can see the reason I did it this way. I want two separate lines. So if I pull that over the bead that way, I can pin those down pretty easily, like we got here. Then, to give it a little bit better effect, what I'm going to do is pull some slack so that these little gold fibers have a little bit of slack in them like that. Okay? Now I'm going to cinch that down, and I can cut this off. Okay, see the effect it creates there? A little bit of movement to it. Now to tie in our horse leg, or horse tails, we got you know, this little piece here. And what I do is go right behind the knot to the length that I want. Okay, we're going to be pushing these back once we get in and put the collar on. So just a couple little knots in there. So we're going to move that over to the side. So that's what it looks like. Okay. Then we're going to get the next one. Pinch it on the side. Try to line up those knots so that they're even. Just make sure they're on the side. Okay, we're going to fold those back, pin them down, and we're going to fix them at the end. Okay, once we get everything in here. Next thing you need is that black micro fix. This is kind of where you need to anchor that bead a little bit. By pushing that material up against the bead. Okay, and we're going to wrap this, like I said, and use the bead to start backing that up a little bit. You want to give it more of a shoulder. Okay. Tie that off. Before we cut any of that off, put a whip finish in here. Trim off your thread, trim off your collar. Now we're just going to move these little legs so we can get them into place here. You can kink this horse tail and it'll kind of stay in the same direction. Cut that excess off. Okay, there we go. Yinzer Clinger. Black and gold, Sealer Training Camp. Any type of clinger pattern, you know, it's going to follow this recipe. You just change your colors, change your back color. A lot of the ones I see in late summer are more golden, more yellowish, but I picked the brown backing here, not just because it's part of the Steeler color thing, but just to show a little bit of contrast here with, you know, the way these gills can move. So it's a neat little effect. What I'm not real happy about is this bead. You know, it's a little too heavy for summer. Usually summer is, the waters are lower, so you use less weight. But we'll give it a shot in some of the deeper holes, see if we can't pull something out of there. I'm itching to get back out on the stream here. I got about another month before water levels and temperatures get to fishable, safe fishable levels. So, all right, guys, there you go. Go tie some up. That's the last bug in this series. I'm sure there's dozens of other ways. If I happen to come across something that looks neat or gives it a better look, we'll tie some up. What we have coming up next week, going to start our quill and biot series. Going to do probably three bugs on that, just to show you different techniques that you can use with it, with the biots, with and with the quills. And then after that, we're doing a steelhead series. So that's coming up faster, and faster than I'm ready for, I guess. I got to get a lot of bugs tied up, and yeah, we'll start going through some of those things, and I'll show you some of the things that the guys up in Erie are fishing with. So give them a shot. Go catch some fish. Thanks for stopping in, guys. We'll see.